believe it or not, this is my first time checking out Rivian. I have not had a Rivian in the studio. I have not owned a Rivian. I really like the name Rivian. It kind of, the merging, the new word. It suits the design and the concept as a whole. What we're looking at here is the new R1S. It is the tri-motor variant, and they made some subtle adjustments from the previous version. Nothing major. I mean, they basically kept the basics, and there's a huge fan base here. Like, I was just diving into the Rivian forums, and people love these things. They love what they look like, what they represent. It's got this, I mean, it's electric, it looks electric, but it's subtle. We got a really big frunk here as well. Let's open it up. Why don't we? We're here anyways. Look at this. Look at that. And actually, I think this is a slight change as well. We're losing a little bit of space from the previous generation, but that makes way for a better heat pump, so the vehicle will be more efficient. I think that that's fine. This is still a very generous frunk. We've got a light in there, a couple pockets for cargo, and we actually can lift this lid and you can see our accessories below. What's cool about this lid, you can either pick this rugged rubberized side, or if you're putting more sensitive objects in here, you could pick the carpeted side and just flip it the other way around. You also have a drain port in here. Got some hooks on the front. I mean, it does sort of feel like a Jeep when you're in it, when you're using it. That's kind of how I would describe it, with that boxiness. Charge port is here, and it is motorized. Some people like this whole ritual here with the motorized spinning out of the way. Others are concerned when you're in a public charge place, somebody could snag that. One thing I do like is having a dedicated button for unlatching without reaching for any kind of app in order to unlock that. There's some tiny little details in the lighting, dynamic, adventure lighting, little hidden Rivian logos in different places. I like the geometric emblem with that slight yellow touch. The thing is, with this brand, it has a very strong brand presence. They've achieved that with a certain kind of attention to detail and uniformity. Like, it really feels like everything belongs together. Rivian as a brand, everything feels exclusive to that brand. Even when we come down to the wheels here, you see we got this yellow touch, yellow caliper, yellow labeling. There's even like a yellow strip down the rubber itself. You do not have to choose these wheels. They also sell an even more modern EV looking wheel, which is gonna sort of maximize your range most likely, because it kind of looks like a dish. I do have to mention the whole locking and unlocking on this vehicle, a little bit hit and miss. Sometimes there's just a delay when I approach it. It's not like instantaneous, and it certainly doesn't pop out before I get there. I do, however, kind of like the extended handle. It gives you a really nice grip point. It's somewhere between, like, obviously on the Cybertruck, I'm pressing a button, I'm grabbing in here. Not the most satisfying. This, like, you still get that feedback, but then you get the aero benefits and the streamlined look when these are recessed in upon locking. You hear it? It's like a bird. That is also something that I appreciate. Just, you know, let's like think about what these things can be, these beeps and bobs and sounds. And does it have to be the way it's always been, or can we play around a little bit? And then, since we're such a nature brand, like, you're going on an adventure, and maybe we're out in the wilderness and you don't want to have some sort of horn sound or digital sound. You have a bird sound that just blends into the surroundings. You know, people maybe double take it. They go, oh, is that a Rivian? But, like, it's not breaking necks. People aren't turning their heads. You kind of blend a little bit more. Maybe this is especially evident to me because I've been driving a Cybertruck. There is no blend. I feel unblended driving the Cybertruck. There's a lot I like about the Cybertruck, probably more than most people, but that is something you have to wrap your head around. Like, you are standing out. People, they notice. Not always in a good way, they notice, especially right now. Anyway, moving around back, we have an interesting approach. This is not a singular lift gate, but it's a two-step thing. You can see the R1S. Look at the way it greeted me there with a beautiful tail light. Now, this light here has some features that are not typical. Like, for example, it has some animations it can run if you're pulled over on the side of the road. It can tell traffic to go around the other side of the vehicle by sending a signal like in this direction. So there's a few different unique animations, kind of a nice touch. The liftgate does have its own button, and it is motorized. So as you can see there, it goes up, but it's a two-step thing. So you have this tailgate that comes down. Maybe makes it easier to load. Obviously, you can also sit on here and you could have a little movie theater. Shout out to our sponsor Anchor. This is the new Nebula. I was actually using this thing last night. I had this thing projecting. Now this is powered. It itself doesn't have a battery in it, but you do have power in the back of the Rivian. What's special about this unit is you just point it at the wall and it will automatically adjust. This whole section on the front is motorized and it will do an automatic keystoning, but also kind of an automatic angling. So you don't need to have this mounted. Of course, all your streaming services are in there. It has this really cool retractable handle, but it even comes up slowly like that. Now what's special about this one, it also has a pair of speakers that you can connect to it. 4.1.2 surround sound. So now we're having surround sound while we're outdoors. It's also the industry's first liquid cooling system. Plus, if you're using it outdoors, you have to kind of think about heat dissipation because it might be kind of hot outside. So you guys tell me, if you had an outdoor movie theater like this, where would you take it and what would you watch? There's a special deal happening right now, so go and check that out in the description. And thanks to Anchor for sponsoring this video. Back to practicality, it's a pretty cool design they figured out here in order to give you this flat tailgate while still having the carpeted coverage. This is actually a great implementation. Like, how do we figure out load floor? And a lot of companies that have boxy SUVs have different approaches to this, but you can see they created this little shelf so that we can easily place something in here, push it in up the incline if necessary. Obviously we can have this flat as well. We have Rivian's own version of tie downs. These can be moved on a track and just with a simple button, but they're still sturdy and they click into place. So if you want to do some type of fridge back here, that would be a perfect place to tie down to keep it locked in place, or any other object that you don't want to have move around. So this is a pretty common thing in a non-huge 7-seater, that you don't end up with a massive trunk with the third row seats up. I would personally probably have them down most of the time, and then obviously your cargo area gets a lot bigger. And now you have a new appreciation for the load floor situation. If I just take this guy, now you can imagine sliding a large box in there, no problem. Also, I should mention there's a little storage underneath here too. So over on the side here, the other cool part below our power and our motorized release for the second row, we've got an air compressor built in, and there's a hose for this air compressor, which actually can reach any of the 4 tires, AC and DC. Some of the best portable fridges that you would want to buy are actually more efficient off DC power than AC, so having the DC here is also nice. I just imagine a lot of people putting a fridge in the back of this vehicle, including myself. So there we go. Now we can see a giant cargo area. Look at this. And this is one of those benefits with big boxy designs, is if you are carrying boxes, they fit better inside of your very own box. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And that's what you end up with. Look at this giant rectangular load area. It's pretty good. I like this color too. I should mention that while we're back here. It goes well with all of the Rivian yellow, orange elements. It kind of works together. Okay, let's go ahead and lift these rear seats up. This is our first look at the rear seat here, and they put a lot of effort into designing this. Like, everything feels extremely solid, and it does not feel like an automotive startup. My main takeaway in the time that I spent with this vehicle is just how robust the construction is, and it feels like a car company that's been in business for a very long time. And it even kind of gets close to like the most luxurious experiences when you look at the stitching, the use of a variety of materials, open pore wood. You've got more than one tone of leather-like covering. We have like a kind of like a bronze tone to the speaker grille, which could have easily just been, I don't know, silver or black, but it's not. It kind of ties into other trim pieces. Look at this. I mean, stitching this kind of plaid concept of having a plaid style of stitch even on the seat itself, and then that same kind of plaid concept traveling down to the carpets, which are not typical at all. Very home-like living room type of vibe in there. Like, look at even the little plaid pattern on the inside of this trim piece here. Deviating this one stitch to gold instead of, it really takes you a while to completely appreciate the number of decisions that contribute to this overwhelming feeling of brand. So this is what the rear is like. I guess I should pull this back. And I am 6 feet tall, and you can see I have headroom. I have knee room here. I've got a cup holder. I have speakers. I have a tiny little storage compartment with a USB-C in it. I can charge my phone right there. I'm surprised that I fit this well in the third row. Okay, second row, the seat itself is much more comfortable, softer and more padded, certainly with the armrest here, more comfortable. Now we have, again, this sort of bungee theme remains. We have a USB-C here. We also have a screen back here, 2 USB-Cs here also. So, and then yeah, just a pretty good feeling of space. Another benefit of a boxy vehicle. Like, check out my headroom. I don't have any kind of sloping roof line. I just have a lot of space around here. All right, so driver's side now, and similar theme, like a lot of open pore wood trim. Steering wheel feels quality. Big center display dominates. Camera quality here is some of the best that I've seen. Really improved camera quality. I kind of get used to this thing where when I'm about to park, when my speeds get really low and the camera pops on automatically. For now, I have to click it manually unless I'm backing in. If I go into reverse, obviously the cameras show up. So over here is where you're going to charge your device. These are flat charging pads, so your device does slide around. And then also the other problem with flat charge pads is that your device gets really hot because it's not shaded at all. So it's getting hit through, from sun that's coming through the windshield. It's getting hit by sun that's coming through the sunroof, and it just gets so hot. Well, it's basically not really charging at all. Cup holders are in here by default, and then you extend them like this. I kind of like this design. If you're not using them, you can put them out of the way, and then it's really robust. Above there, you have a motor, actually. This is pretty deep storage. A couple USB ports in there. Down here, we have more smart design. This guy pulls out. You like to party. If you're tailgating, you're just like, oh yeah, of course I've got a speaker. Oh yeah, this also doubles as a lantern. It has a light. See that? And it's like a warm light too. Check that out. Speaking of this area, like this is a giant storage area. You can put big objects here. You can put an entire backpack over here. No problem. One weird thing about this car, it does not have a glove box. So I thought that was interesting. So one thing that I noticed is a lot of the UI elements kind of completely dominate the entirety of the screen. So if I click, for example, on the music button, then it's all music. And it's clean, but I just don't know from a functionality standpoint that this implementation really works that well. There are so many times where I want to see multiple pieces of information from different categories on the display at the same time. However, it does make things look beautiful because they're inherently larger and the display is high resolution, but still it feels overwhelming when you click on one of these things and then everything you were looking at is gone. Look at how beautiful this graphic is. It's all Unreal Engine. Like, look at how you have certain elements that are moving and persistent. This is cool information, especially for off-roading, to be able to see your elevation, your compass, your tires, different temperatures. There's an auto leveling feature for if you are car camping, so that you're not like sleeping on an angle, but if you got to park on the side of the mountain and then level the car, it can actually do that with a pretty significant degree of range. We have a phone. We have something called Gear Guard, which is kind of like their Sentry mode, which will record any motion events around the vehicle. So very much like Sentry mode, if you're aware. So they do have their own version of that. The camp mode is pretty cool. Will was using this, and this lets us control any camp related elements. But like, look at the details. Rivian tent. You have the speaker by the lawn chairs over there. Oh, I should also mention this roof here, so it can be clear or opaque, and it's actually electronic. So there's a button you press in order to get that to happen. It doesn't completely block sunlight, because you can imagine camping in it, right? You might want actually more coverage than just that feature. Climate is another one where I feel like it really takes up a lot of the screen. I can change temperature without launching the entire climate screen. So I can just do this. The fans down lower are not as strong as other cars that I've tested, but I think that's a pretty unique thing to me. And the other benefit here, we can go ahead and control all the different rows. Like, I couldn't reach back there. So middle row, back row, but to have the very back row heated, and especially on an electric vehicle where, it's all about efficiency, and heated seats are a really efficient way to heat yourself. So having that all the way in the back as well, like, nice little touch. The seats have a lot of adjustment. There is a lumbar there. Yeah, the height of the lumbar support and then the amount. Of course, everything is motorized here. The angle, We have quite a bit of height adjustability on the seat as a whole also. On the way out here, the flashlight, Rivian flashlight, again, like first party, well built, like solid metal, 1,000 lumens, and you just get it. It's just in there, ready to go. Look, different settings. And look at the way it gently dims itself when you turn it off. Boom. An emergency, that could really be important. So we're out on the road now, and this thing really feels like an SUV. There's a lot of SUVs, like a scaled up sedan of some kind. It's more, you feel more upright, a little bouncier. Even in my all around mode, I've did a little bit of reading about suspension and how updates have kind of improved it. For my taste, it's a little bit bouncy, even in the all-around mode. So you kind of feel your boxy nature as you drive. Obviously, when it comes to acceleration, well, there goes Mo. I don't need to tell you. I mean, you know the figures, you know the numbers. 850 horsepower in this tri-motor. They're going to do a quad, which is going to be as fast as all the competitors, right? You've got to launch if you want to really throw your head back. So it has that. And then in the drive mode that I'm in, this kind of all around mode, I feel like it balances things the best compared to Conserve or Sport. It also has its own kind of freeway assist self-driving. It is not autopilot. It's basically like an assisted kind of cruise control. That's the way I would use it without the steering and whatever else, because it's not really that sophisticated yet, based on a limited amount of exposure to it. This is one area, obviously, where Tesla is like way out here, and then there's a lot of other players that are sort of in here. But at this point, I've tried the Super Cruise and the GM products, and just to give you a little background on my exposure to EVs, it was like the Taycan, the Plaid, the Hummer EV, the Cybertruck. This is the realm that I'm in. So I really feel that this thing is more about converting an off-road SUV buyer, someone like Will, who has a Bronco, into an electric vehicle with these electric vehicle enhancements. That's the way that it kind of feels to me. The other thing I just remember that I don't love is the stock here for signal indicator. You have to press it hard, like you can't, and sometimes it will automatically go off on like a larger turn, but on the highway on a lane change, it'll just stay on, and then I'm having to like sort of half tap it to turn it off. Yeah, so what can I say about it? I think Rivian knows its customer. There's a kind of a die-hard Rivian person out there now. Attention to detail, like the fit and finish of this thing is definitely beyond your typical EV. Even if like the driving dynamics for me are maybe not at the top tier of, say, luxuriousness, I don't necessarily know if that's the target market. I think this is looking for that outdoorsy person, that person that actually will take this thing places, use those camp modes and those outdoor speakers, or at least gets tremendous pleasure out of the fact that they can do those things if they want to. This unit that I'm testing, whatever it is, 175 grand, you could totally go in a luxury direction, no problem. The car itself, for an electric car, feels surprisingly traditional. I think that is okay for a lot of people. I think that's actually what a lot of people hope for. They don't want to have this whole new experience. They don't want to feel as though they're in a spaceship, They want that familiarity, and I think that's what this vehicle does. And then where it innovates is in those little touches and those extras that they deliver. So pretty good altogether, when you look at the package in its entirety.